Hey everyone, it's Josh with Big Daddy Unlimited with part 2 of recoil management. We're here at the Bradford Sportsman's Farm, so we're going to get to shooting, show you what we can do with recoil management, how we're going to be able to displace weight, better stance, and all that stuff to get the rifle shooting as flat as possible. Today I have my competition rifle set up for with a low variable power optic and a offset red dot for close stuff and for the long boys. So let's get started, get shooting. Okay, so there are a few key factors in recoil management when it comes to body position, maybe foot placement, and weight distribution. All that plays into keeping the gun nice and flat and easy to shoot for follow-up shots. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna demonstrate the usual kind of stances that I see with students and other shooters at the range, and you know what is wrong with it, and then we'll correct those real quick. So we're gonna go hot. Forgive me, I shoot left-handed, so it's a little bit awkward for me to shoot right-handed, but we're gonna try anyway. Okay, so usually what I see is people try to kind of cant their body a little bit to, I guess, hold the rifle better, or like make it feel like it's less of like a weight that they're holding. But what that results into is when you're shooting, the gun's gonna wanna recoil towards your strong side because there's no resistance coming this way for the most part. So what happens is you shoot, the gun recoils, and you pivot on your hips, and the gun moves off target as well. So it's a little bit hard for you to get back onto target. So I'm gonna go hot and show you kind of what that looks like. Okay, so you can see the gun kind of travel a little bit, and I have to kind of pull the gun back. And I'll demonstrate with a couple more shots if I was actively trying to get back onto target as quickly as possible with that particular movement. So, okay, so a little bit of a struggle, but not too hard. It's just you're working a little bit too much for it to get back onto target. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of shift our body position to stand a little bit more square to the target. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with, you know, you can offset your stance. You can stand pretty much straight like this, but this helps a little bit. So you can kind of offset your feet, but you still want to keep your hips and your shoulders mostly square to the target. And so what that's going to look like is that. Okay, so that'll help the gun from traveling too much, and to shift your weight forward as well, that'll help with this way or this recoil going up and down. So first step is we're going to get into kind of a square position, and then we're going to kind of like almost like we're sitting down in a way. You're pushing your hips back, but also moving your shoulders forward over your toes. So what that's going to look like is a much flatter. My optic never left the target, so it makes it to where it's kind of doing like this sort of figure eight for the most part. And of course, the more that you work on your rifle, the more cool things that you put on there, like a aggressive muzzle brake, tunable gas system, and all that stuff, the gun's gonna shoot flatter. But with a standard mil-spec rifle, you can still achieve the same kind of thing. It's just gonna be a little bit easier with this gun. So we'll switch this to a regular kind of M4 style, non-adjustable gas block type deal, and show you kind of the difference between that. So now I got a standard AR, no extra frills on here, all stock equipment, just a red dot on top. So we're gonna do the same thing, and even without a aggressive muzzle brake and tunable gas system, it still should shoot a lot flatter than if you were to have a bad offset stance. So we're gonna go hot, show you what that looks like. Okay, proper stance, nice bent knees, weight forward, square to the target, should look like this. Okay, so still relatively flat, but straight to the target. The gun does drift a little bit to my right because I'm holding it on my right side, but it was only very little. I could see the dot going this way, but coming right back because I was holding the rifle properly. You can do it to pretty much any rifle. Obviously, the bigger the caliber, you know, you're gonna get a lot more recoil, so you're gonna have to get in more of like an aggressive stance. So if you're shooting like maybe 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, 300 Win Mag in some kind of like AR platform, even a regular rifle, especially when you're in the woods and you're using it for hunting, a good proper stance still goes a long way, especially with those big calibers. It's gonna help you absorb that recoil and manage it really well. So if you're having to come back onto target, you're not like 3 miles to your right, you know, you're having to just, you know, rack the bolt and everything like that, go back on target. You'll be somewhere relatively close to where you started at. So just to recap through the recoil management series, make sure you have a good, proper fundamental grip. So like I said before, you're gonna bring the gun up into your cheek, bring it into your shoulder and squeeze it into your shoulder as much as you can to keep the recoil absorbing into your body. And proper stance with your shoulders and your hips square to the target, and even weight distribution a little bit more maybe towards the front with your shoulders. And that's all you got to do. It's pretty simple. It takes a bit of practice, but there's nothing to it.